What's up, y'all? This NBA season, don't let an injury rule out your bet. Other sportsbooks let injuries box you out, but FANATICS Sportsbook Fair Play protects all bets from first half injury. So if your player goes down with an injury, FANATICS keeps your bet out on the court. Make the switch and get more ways to win with FANATICS Sportsbook. Winning hits different here.
Welcome to the Knicks Film School Postgame Show presented by FANATICS Sportsbook. It is your boy, Jonathan Macri, and I am very thankful to the good Lord in the sky that he did not make me a Nets fan. Well, that was fun. If you are, well, I think there's a few different things that I want to go through for that game. We could start in any number of directions. I think, though, I have to start. There's only one place that I could start. If I'm being honest with myself and I'm being honest with our viewers and our listeners, there's only one place that I could start. And that is with my truly deepest sympathies for all 87 Nets fans that exist out there in the universe. And I thought, because I had some time to think about this because this game was over. So before they jump the ball up at center court. But I have had some time to think about how I wanted to start the show and say, Macri, don't start the show with something about the Nets, because then you're no better than the very fans, all 87 of them that you made fun of for all those years, who, when their team was actually good, all they would do is talk about the Knicks. And what am I going to do? I'm going to be here at Knicks Film School, starting a Knick, win by 87 points, and talk about this crappy Brooklyn team. But I do really want to offer my deepest condolences and sympathies to the 87 Net fans that exist in the universe. And here's why. Typically, when you assemble the sort of roster and the sort of team that the Nets, well, no, the Knicks have the roster now. The Nets did not too long ago. You remember when the city was under new management? That was fun. And you have three of the greatest offensive players of all time. Truly, three of the greatest offensive players of all time in different ways on your team at the same time. And two of them just chose to be there. The other one very much wanted to be there, even though they had to trade for him. It's not a guarantee of a championship. You would have thought that it would be a guarantee of more than one playoff series victory. But beggars can't be choosers. But at the very least in the NBA, when you assemble a team of that magnitude, whether things go your way or they do not go your way, and it's time to call it quits, which it was over pretty much as soon as it began for that Nets team for a variety of reasons. At the very least, you usually can restock the coffers, and you could at least give your fan base something to look forward to in the not too distant future. And I'm watching this Nets team tonight, and I'm like, they don't have a single young player to be excited about. Not one. They obviously drafted 5 first-round rookies. We'll see, maybe 1 or 2 of them will end up being something good, but there's not a young stud on this team. So you had these 3 Hall of Famers in their prime on your team at once, and you got no young studs out of it whatsoever. You got Ben Simmons out of it, who probably sitting on a beach somewhere right now having a Mai Tai. It's 5 p.m. somewhere. But no young players. And you're going to have your pick in this upcoming draft, which is nice. That's something, right? Didn't work out so great last year in terms of the lottery, but that's something. And then a year from now, you don't even have control over your own pick, because the Houston Rockets, who are one of the best teams in basketball, they want to pick swap. And I'm just watching this, and the reason why I thought of this, and I had to open with my sympathy for this downtrodden franchise that has frankly been downtrodden ever since they moved to the swamps, and then they picked up and left the swamps, and they moved to Atlantic Terminal, which is a very nice terminal. Went there every day for 10 years. You know, like that, like what is there? I really just I had to offer this up. It was the least I could do, because as I'm watching this team in the second quarter in particular, and this is when I thought of this, when they're actually making shots, when they're actually putting it to the Knicks a little bit, and they're like, the Knicks can't get up by 20, and Knicks' own fault. They didn't come out. They didn't defend hard right out of the gate. And the Nets are actually making shots. They're like, come on, guys. Let's like rah, sis, boom, bah. Making some threes, the whole thing. And it just doesn't matter, because the team that you're looking across, you know, from on the other side of the court, it's just they could do anything they want on the offensive side of the ball. And then they came out in the third quarter and they decided, you know what? We're going to do anything we want on the defensive side of the ball too. And before you know it, you had Mike Breen tripping up on the score. Oh, the Knicks are up by 27. I'm sorry, the Knicks are up by 37 points. And it reminded me of a time not too long ago when the Knicks were the team in the Nets shoes. And the Knicks would have these games, and the game would be over in about 87 seconds. And there would be a little stretch of time where the Knicks might hit some shots, and they might even make a defensive play or two. And you'd be like, oh, man, I want to get hopeful. And then you'd look up at the scoreboard, and the score, it never got below 15 points, the lead. And then eventually you were down by 30 again. And you're like, how far away are we actually? What do we have to look forward to? And you would ask yourself, why do I do this to myself? And here's where I'm going to close the door on this one, and I'm going to land the plane. In addition to my sympathy for the 87 Net fans that exist out there in the universe, I also offer you hope, because as I just said, it was not that long ago that the Knicks were in your shoes and were the worst team in the NBA and didn't have anything ostensibly to look forward to at all, other than the end of yet another miserable season, which provided no joy and no hope and no nothing. So let this be a reminder, Nets fans, 87 of you who watched tonight, although I doubt most of you watched tonight, because why would you watch this basketball team? That good things can be around the corner. It's probably going to take you hiring a president or a GM or someone other than Sean Marks, who happens to have a godson who is entering free agency at some point and is the uncovered treasure in the entire league. And then he comes and plays for your basketball team. And that's probably what it's going to take to turn you guys around. But hey, miracles happen. They happened here, and you witnessed it right on the television in front of you. Shout out to all of you. I had to start that way because I didn't know what other way to start. All kidding aside, that's not the real reason why I want to start with the Nets. The reason why I wanted to start with my own little evisceration of the Nets and this franchise is I would have loved to start this post game with nothing but praise and just gassing up this Knicks team for beating the snot out of the Nets by 36 points, and it could have very easily been 56 points if they actually wanted it to be. And mercifully, they let their foot off the gas. They only scored 22 points in the last quarter. May have cost themselves the number one number one offensive rating ranking in the process, but they may still get there. I'm going to be checking in on that in about a half hour or so. Hopefully, the numbers post before the post game's over. But I don't know how I'm supposed to get like at a 10 out of 10 level of exuberance for that game with that opponent. I am extraordinarily excited, and I am extremely happy that the Knicks went out there and they absolutely treated the Nets like ragdolls for the entirety of the night. At the same time, if this Knicks team did anything other than treat that Nets team like ragdolls for 48 minutes, there would be a massive problem. And I actually I'm forgiving of the Knicks for coming out and kind of lollygagging around defensively, and eventually they give up 40 points in the second quarter because they came out in the third quarter and they put their foot down. So I'm not even going to get on the Knicks for coming out and maybe not taking this game the most seriously out of the gate defensively. Whatever. It happens. But by the same token, I can't go crazy over this performance in which the Knicks, as a team, wound up with 31 assists. This is, I think, the fourth, or it's a streak now in which they have X number of consecutive games with 30 assists or more. So great job by them for that. Great job by them for getting up or for making their shots, obviously. 17 to 37 from three. The offense looked about as good as an NBA offense can look in terms of exactly what Mike Brown wants, which is driving and spraying out to corner shooters. I wish I had the stat of how many corner threes the Knicks shot tonight, and specifically how many corner threes the Knicks attempted based off of, or that were generated from, drives and kicks, because I have a feeling it would be a very, very high number. There was, I mean, until guys started really having some fun with this one, probably in the third quarter, there was an extraordinarily low amount of isolation basketball that was going on in this decimation. This was quite literally everything you could possibly want and nothing you didn't on the offensive end of the floor for the Knicks. They did nothing wrong. They did nothing wrong. I can't find any fault in what they did. In terms of an offensive performance, like, you know, what more can you do? The offensive flow, everything. They were running their plays. They were executing everything. The shots they missed were good looks. And then they made a whole bunch of shots. I mean, they said it at one point during the broadcast, the amount of, oh, here we go. Who's this? Oh, why, thank you, beat writer who will go nameless. I don't know if he wants me to shout him out. They were 10 of 17 on quarter threes in the first 3 quarters. They missed both of their corner three attempts with the backups in. Say, you know what? Just because you put that, I will. Thank you to Fred Katz for that. 10 of 17 on corner threes. So that's really great. That's really great. It really is everything you wanted. I'm sure Mike Brown is happy. I'm sure the team is happy. You know, oh, that's what I was saying. In terms of the assist numbers, Breen saying during the broadcast that all the guys with multiple assists, you look up and down, 7 assists for Jalen Brunson, 5 assists for Mikal Bridges, 3 assists for OG Anunoby, 2 assists for Karl-Anthony Towns, 3 assists for Jordan Clarkson. Shout out Jordan Clarkson, JC, my guy. He didn't wait till Easter Sunday to rise. He rose tonight. And then some garbage time assists, but McBride 3 assists, Landry Shamet 3 assists, Josh Hart 2 assists, just up and down the roster. Everybody dishing and swishing, as Clyde would say. And thanks again for Fred for this stat. They currently lead the league, the Knicks do, with 12.9 corner three attempts per game. But again, 13 corner three attempts, or just below 13 corner three attempts a game, leads the league. For them to have gotten 17 tonight just emphasizes how big of a number that is, how significant of a number that is. They are playing basketball the way that I don't know if it was intended to be played, because I don't know when Dr. James Naismith thought up this game many years ago, he ever envisioned that it would evolve to the sport that it is today. But in terms of how you're supposed to play this sport right now, you can't really do it any better than the Knicks are currently doing it. And Mike Brown, look, it was dicey for a few days, right? You lose 3 in a row, some uncertainty about some different things. I don't know what more you can have in terms of proof of concept. And I don't mean that to say that this Knicks team is going to score a bazillion points in every game that they play, because that is not going to be the case. They are not always going to hit shots. And certainly some other teams, namely 28 other teams, are going to offer more defensive resistance than this Nets team offered tonight. But as far as a system that is clearly working, and guys are buying into, and that when it is executed properly and when guys are moving where they're supposed to be moving and when the passes are there, like when you take all that and you apply it to a roster with this level of skill, and that's the one thing that I didn't like. There was a lot of, some uncertainty early in the season about some different things. And some people, I think in particular, were like, is this team built to put up all these threes? Is this team built to get the ball at the floor fast? Is this team built to move around as much as Mike Brown has them moving around? And I was like, I don't know. Like, guys know if they do this stuff, they're going to get points. They're going to fill up their own stat sheet, which if you're an NBA player is something you generally like to do. And so, like, where there's a will, there's a way. And you look at the box score tonight, I already read off the assist totals. It's like OG has his 19, Cat has his 28. Bridges only had 16, but I mean, he's the one guy I think probably could care less about his numbers. Brunson had 19 because he didn't need to have any more than 19. Like, the numbers are going to be there. And it's just like, these are skilled basketball players. I don't know how to say it. Like, when you have 4 of the top 40 players on your team, including 2 of the top, 20, I don't know where you consider Cat. He's somewhere in the top 20 in terms of offensive basketball players. Certainly he's top 15. And then Brunson. And then you could fill out the roster with the guys you could fill out the roster with. When you have a guy like Josh Hart as your 6th man, I mean, put Josh Hart's shooting inconsistency aside, just from a skill standpoint, from all the different things that Josh Hart can do on the floor. And yes, I understand shooting is a skill. It's probably the most important skill. But like, to have him come in and fill in all the cracks off the bench and then Deuce McBride and everything that he could do, and even a guy like Shamet, it's just like they have Jordan Clarkson. They have the pieces to make this thing hum. And if everybody's committed to doing it the way it needs to be done, you're going to get some nights like this. I'm thinking back to a post-game Benji did. I think it was the one I stuck him with because I had to go in and do the post-game in SNY. I think it was the Heat game. And Benji got on here and he was like, look, at some point, like that night, they didn't hit shots. And he's like, look, the tide is going to turn. And at some point, there's going to be one of these nights where they go out there and like you're multiple nights and they just hit everything. And tonight was one of those nights. But you need to have the process in place first. And what we're getting right now with these games that we've been seeing now, with, I guess, what is this, 4 wins in a row now for the Knicks, is the process that has really been there for the most part all season long. It's just been getting better and better. The process has been there. The execution of the process has been there. And now the shots are just going down. And so I don't know what more you could possibly want than what we're getting from this team. And yeah, it was fun to pick on a bottom feeder tonight. It was fun to pick on a bottom feeder and to have it look that easy at times. And again, the only thing I could compare it to was when the shoe was on the other foot. When we were stuck here sitting there as Knicks fans watching a team go out there, and it always seemed like teams were having games like this against us, which is why, and as we go through the super chats, I'll save the, individual player praise for when we get to the super chats, because I'm sure all the names are going to come up. I'm sure Mitchell Robinson is going to come up. I have a fun stat that I will save for the first Mitchell Robinson related super chat that maybe will blow your mind, maybe won't. I don't know, but I thought it was a pretty cool stat when I found it. I'm sure I'm going to talk about OG Anunoby, who can single-handedly turn a game defensively, and he did in the third quarter of this game, to say nothing that he's hitting 78% from 3 this season. It seems like it's not actually that high, but it's really good. And we'll talk about Cat and how, boy, oh boy, since I went on here and laid out my grievances, all this guy has done is ball. That's all he has done. And he has looked really pretty unstoppable at times in the process. And he seems like a guy. And he didn't even hit any threes tonight. When you score 28 points on 17 shots and you don't even hit any threes, something's probably going right. But he seems like a guy who's getting awfully comfortable in this offense. Where was he before the season in terms of his thoughts about the offense and his role in it? You know what? I don't know if that matters anymore. I really don't know if it matters anymore, because what we are witnessing now in terms of and kudos to Benji and DJ, and they did an exceptional job discussing Cat in particular on the X's and O's pod at the end of the week. And Benji's been on this really from jump. This should be a great offense for Karl-Anthony Towns. And you're seeing it. And you saw it tonight, and you've been seeing it recently. He was awesome. I mentioned Clarkson up and down the roster. And we'll get to all the individual performances. But the last thing I will say, yes, it was the Nets. Yes, the Nets are now 1-9. Enjoy a night like this. Truly. Enjoy a night like this if you're a Knicks fan. Because, number one, wasn't that long ago. Like I said, shoe was on the other foot. But number two, it is not easy to assemble a basketball team that is capable of playing the sport in the way the Knicks played it tonight, especially on the offensive end of the floor, but you even saw it on the defensive end of the floor in the third quarter as well. It's really hard. And for them to have been where they were at the time when the Nets, according to them, put the city under new management on June 30th, 2019. For them to go from where they were then to where they are now, I know Leon Rose is not perfect. We could sit here and I could give you a list of things that he has maybe not done great or aired or any of those sorts of things. Give the man his credit for assembling a team that could go out there and do, again, what a great team is supposed to do to a team like that. Because they did it, and it might seem easy. It's not. Like, this is a really good basketball team. They have a lot of hurdles left to clear. Beating the Nets in November is not going to earn you any parades. But it's a damn competitive league, and as I kind of hinted at a few minutes ago, I'll do a check right now. I don't think it's going to be updated already, but I will periodically check it. To have a team where you could look at a tenth, more than a tenth of the way into the season, and say, wow, is that the best offense in the league? And the Knicks might have the best offense in the league. Again, it's not easy to do. So enjoy tonight. Basketball team's rolling right now. Let's hope it keeps going on this homestand. But you could only play who is on your schedule. And tonight, the Knicks took care of business. So we will celebrate that tonight. And we will celebrate that momentarily right after a quick check-in, courtesy of our good friends at FANATICS Sportsbook, with tonight's betting and sweating picks. Okay, so here's where we went for this one. I was off today. So the picks were courtesy of Andrew, Sean, and Jeff. Shout out to Mensa for doing the 5 individual picks. Of course, you could catch those 5 picks before every Knicks game on all of our social media feeds, and you can keep track with your friends at Knicks Film School as we go along the way. We're going to be providing periodic updates about who's in the lead and all of that sorts of stuff with those picks that we take turns making before every game. But again, you can see that on all the social media feeds. For tonight's betting and sweating, Andrew went Mikal Bridges over 14.5 points. Andrew, you had to sweat it out a little bit, but you got there. 16 points for Mikal Bridges. A great job by you. Sean, the Knicks over 123.5 points. I think so I wrote this down. They were at 120 with 8 minutes and 30 left in the fourth quarter. And then Cat had that runaway dunk with, I think, about 8:12 left. So they, once Cat got that dunk, Sean, I wonder if he was sitting there sweating out. Are they going to get another bucket in the next 8 minutes and 10 seconds? I don't know. I'll have to ask him. And then Jeff. I don't blame you one bit for this one. I do not blame you one iota, because in a game like this, you figure Deuce McBride going to get a ton of minutes, going to get a ton of shots. He took the over on 10 points for Deuce McBride, and Deuce McBride unfortunately missed all 4 shots from the field. He was literally the one guy tonight who did not put the ball in the bucket. So as a result, we did miss our parlay, which was plus 460. But I think this is the second game in a row I can say this. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. And congratulations to Andrew and Sean for putting up some winners here. And shout out to Fanatics Sportsbook, as always. Okay. Let's get some super chats. Let's have some fun. What's better than kicking the shit out of the Nets? That's the other compliment I forgot this. The other compliment I give the Nets. It feels great to beat the Nets. Right? I'm not gonna be Dom Draper here. I don't think about you at all. No, it feels awesome to kick the shit out of the Nets. I love kicking the shit out of the Nets. It is fucking fantastic to absolutely stomp them, especially when they're down. Not despite them being down, especially when they're down. No, absolutely. This is great. It's few things better than kicking the crap out of that shitty basketball team. Okay, now we can start super chats. Carlos, what's going on, Carlos? So glad Clarkson found his groove. We needed this. He was going to find it. I mean, offensively, Clarkson was going to find it offensively. I think the 2 questions with Clarkson moving forward are, number one, in a playoff series, and again, we're getting way ahead of ourselves. In a playoff series against a team that really can punish you from a lot of different spots on the floor, is Clarkson able to hold up defensively? I have liked what I've seen from Clarkson on the defensive end on the whole this season, but that's going to be worth seeing. And then this is more of probably a trade deadline question. Can you get away with Jordan Clarkson essentially being your de facto backup point guard? Because, when Brunson sits, and it's Clarkson, and it's Deuce, and it's Cat, and it's probably Mikal, and it'll be interesting to see who else is in, who gets that last spot during the Brunson minutes. Is it going to be OG? Can you afford to have it be OG? How many minutes can you afford to play OG? But whatever, it's, or do you go a little bit smaller? Does Gershon come around? Maybe it's Shamet. So, or, do you feel like that's enough? Do you feel like it gives you enough ball handling, enough, shot creation, or do you feel like you need to go out there and make a move ahead of the deadline for a more traditional backup point guard? So that'll be the next several months. We'll pay attention to that. Thanks, Carlos. Vintage Larry Wu, aka Jacob. What's going on, man? Mike Brown's offensive vision shines bright versus the Nets JV team. Mac, you've been asking 2 or 3 All-Stars. The right question is 3 or 4. So I actually went and did the exercise this morning yesterday morning, because somebody had mentioned OG Anunoby. I think it was Alex brought up Hartenstein as a possible entrant on the world team. So for anybody who does not know, the new rules are that of the 24 All-Star selections, there will be 16 American-born players and then 8 foreign-born players. OG Anunoby, as we know, hails from Great Britain. And so, is it Great Britain or is it the United Kingdom? I should probably know that. I think it's Great. I'm pretty sure it's Great Britain. In any case, so there's only 8 world spots, and look throughout just very quick. Jokic, SGA, Giannis, Wemby, Luka, Alperen Sengun, Josh Giddey. That's 7. So now you're down to one spot, and we haven't even brought up some guys that are going to get some real consideration. And OG is in that mix and should be in that mix. So that's for that. And then with Bridges, then it's the flip side of that question. Are the Knicks going to get 3 of the 16 American-born player spots? Just like look up and down the league and look at how many guys are having really good seasons. And, there's going to be guys having good years for teams that maybe aren't so great. Like, actually the Celtics won again tonight, but Jaylen Brown, I don't know if the Celtics are going to be 500 on the All-Star, but All-Star game, but Jaylen Brown's going to be putting up great numbers. He already is. Yes. Thank you, Mark. He is from London. So it's just going to be a really uphill battle. If I'm just being honest, as much as I would love to be wrong about this, if you ask me right now how many All-Stars are the Knicks going to get, I would say 2. What I think is the real fascinating thing, and I think there is, I don't know how real of a chance there is at this, but I do wonder if there will be a conversation about who the Knicks' second All-Star should be. And that is not at all to disparage Cat. It's not. I wonder if, and I'm gonna be specific, and I'm gonna say OG here, but again, it's tough because of the world versus America thing. So they're actually, Cat and OG aren't competing for a spot, but you also know how this thing goes, where a lot of times coaches, let's say the Knicks are in first place in the East, and the coaches do feel the pressure to put a second Knick on. Like, which way are they gonna lean? Does that become a conversation? I don't think it will. I think Cat, by the time we get there, is going to establish himself as just too important of an offensive player. But I wonder if that just, even in a vacuum, even if they aren't actually competing against each other, I do wonder if that's going to become a conversation. We'll see. Hey, listen, it's a great problem to have. It's a great problem to have. Thanks, Jacob. Dan Hidalgo, what's going on, Dan? I'm not taking anything away from Mikal, but he's always been an additive player. Last year on a tight rotation and expectations, there was too much pressure on him. It feels like he's free to do what he does best, efficiency. Thank you, first of all, Dan, for the generous contribution. So Mikal Bridges tonight, 16 points on 8 shots. He took 5 threes, and he made 4 of them. Mikal Bridges, I'm going to guess... First of all, let's see if the stats updated. I'm going to guess his effective field goal percentage right now, 64.7. Let's see. Well, first of all, let's see if the stats updated. This is thrilling podcasting, guys. I know. But the point is, he is the most efficient player on the Knicks. No, the stats did not update. So going into tonight, Mikal Bridges had a 64 effective field goal percentage. So actually, after tonight, it's probably going to be like 66, 67. I don't know, something in that neighborhood. That is among the most efficient guys in the league who play a position that he plays, or like somewhat similar to him, on similar-ish volume, and it's not huge volume. That's the thing. His usage rate coming into tonight was 14.9, and that'll go down a little bit, which gets Dan to exactly what you're saying. He's not a guy that you should be asking to do a ton. We learned that when he was in Brooklyn, and to a lesser extent, we maybe learned that at times last year. Although last year, I think there's an argument that he was both there. It's weird. Last season, there was both too much placed on him, to your point, and also he was not given enough of the right things to do. I have said it now on 3 or 4 post games. Like, we'll be having the Tibbs conversation until such point that this team makes a finals. Let's say that. It's just, that's reality. I will not be having it, or I'll try like hell not to have it. But that conversation will be out there. The way that Tom Thibodeau used the Mikal Bridges versus the way that Mike Brown is using Mikal Bridges is reason enough to believe that this coaching change was at least worth going for. Whether or not it will pay off in the way the Knicks want it to pay off, and certainly us, the fans, want it to pay off. That change alone was reason enough to make the shift, to go from one guy to the other guy. Now, again, this gets a little bit to what you're talking about, him being an additive player. He is essentially the secondary ball handler on this team after Mikal Bridges. What did I say he had tonight? 5 assists? 5 assists for Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges, that means on the season, he is now averaging 5 point, probably went down a hair, so probably at 5.1, 5.2. Brunson's only at 6.1. That went up a little bit after this game, so whatever. He's at 6.3. But like, the fact that Mikal Bridges is closer, much closer to the team lead in assists than he is to third, tells you that the importance of that role. Will he be able to hold up under more pressure against better defenses? We don't know the answer to that question for sure. Here's what I do know. It is fan-fucking-tastic that he is getting the experience now, early, and he's going to get this experience all year long that will hopefully prepare him for those matchups against real teams in real moments in the playoffs. And he can, again, as you're saying, Dan, truly be an additive player in the truest sense, where he fills in all the gaps. Every gap you need, he's there. He has the requisite skill to fill it in. I think it is a legitimate question. There are some questions that I will ask on here, and in my head, I'm like, oh, I think I know the answer to that question. I legitimately am I think this one's a little up in the air, because we just haven't seen it at the highest level, like against top defenses. Mikal have that level of responsibility as a secondary ball handler. I think he might have it in him, but I don't know because we haven't seen it. And until we see it, we're not going to be sure. It looks great so far, though. It looks great so far. Thanks, Dan. Drew P, what's going on, Drew? How you doing, buddy? Mitch's rim gravity creates room for shooters plus 40. Drew, you unlocked the safe. You win. You win the day. Yes, Mitch's rim gravity is awesome. He is. I don't know that there is another player in the league right now that has his particular combination of skills in terms of gravity at the rim, in terms of offensive rebounding. And then, of course, what he does on the defensive end of the floor, where he was OG's going to get all the love for the third quarter defensive turnaround. Mitch was right there with him. Anyway, plus 40, you say. Well, as luck would have it, before we got started on the postgame tonight, I went and looked up. Has there ever been a player in the history of the NBA, and of course, it's not the whole history of the NBA because we didn't start tracking plus minus until the mid-90s. I think 96. Somebody check me on that one, but around the mid-90s. So we've been doing this for about 30 years. I looked up, has there ever been a player in all that time to be a plus 40 or better in less than 17 minutes of game time? And tonight, Mitchell Robinson played 16 minutes and some number of seconds. And the answer is no. In all the time the plus minus has been tracked, according to StatHead, Basketball Reference, whatever, there has never been a player who has played 16 minutes in a basketball game and been plus 40 or higher. There have been two players in the history of however long this stat has been kept track of that have played under 20 minutes in a game and been at least plus 40. And that was Derek Jones Jr. did so this past January, playing for the Clippers against, hold on, wait for it. You're going to be floored when I tell you who the Clippers were playing that night. Are you ready? Are you sitting down? Sit down. It was the Nets. What are the fucking odds of that? Anyway, the other guy is Lou Dort, who was a plus 45 for OKC against Portland. That took place in January of 2024. That's it. There have been other guys who have been very high in terms of plus minus in 16 minutes or less. Corliss Williamson, there's a name, for Detroit back in 2003 was a plus 37 in 15 minutes. You could go down Kevin Garnett, shout out to KG. Oh, look at this. Here's some Nets love for the Nets. He played for the Nets. Remember that? When KG played for the Nets? That was a good trade for them, right? In 2013, he was a plus 34 in 16 minutes of action. But no, this is the first time in the history of the NBA that a player has been plus 40 or more in 16 minutes of action or less. So shout out to Mitchell Robinson tonight for literally doing something that no player in the history of the sport, as it is recorded, has ever done before. Thanks, Drew. Drew with another one. Good job, coach. Also, the starting unit has been great. Yeah, the starting unit's been good. I actually here's something else I didn't get a chance to look up tonight, is the specific lineup data. I've been enjoying looking up the lineup data just because it's early and you never know what you're going to find. But the lineup that was killing up the most coming into tonight was actually the old starting lineup, as you know, funny enough. So tonight we'll do a little comparison here. So for the Knicks tonight, this is funny. The lineup that played the second most minutes together was Diawara, Kolek, Dadia, Yabusele, and Huck Porty. Shout out to Mike Brown. We're going to get to the minutes thing in a second. So Anunoby, man, that lineup did not play a lot tonight because they didn't need to play a lot tonight. Yeah, the old starting lineup really did not play very much at all tonight. I don't even think they played a minute together tonight. That's interesting. Unless I missed it. Somebody double check me on that. I don't think the old starting lineup played a minute tonight. Coming into tonight, they had been gangbusters. But for tonight, the lineup that played the most was obviously the starting lineup. And that lineup was a plus 20 in 7 minutes and 20 seconds. They outscored Brooklyn 24-4. Is that good? To plus 151.3 net rating. They allowed the Nets to score 33.3 points per 100 possessions. I think that's good. I think that's good. I got to double check the stats guys for that one. I think that's good, though. Yeah, starting unit's been really good, and good job, coach. I don't think anybody played 30 minutes tonight. Yeah, Brunson played 29. That's it. Thanks, Drew. Busy. What's going on? I miss Tibbs. Of course you do, Busy. Oh, I miss you, Busy. I hope you're well. Thanks, man. Rob Delusmo. What's going on, Rob? What's up, KFS fam? Good luck to any team when the Knicks are clicking like they were tonight. Let's keep this thing rolling. Yeah. Look, I think the Nets, let's just say they do not have a single. I mean, Terrence Mann used to be a good defender. I don't know. I mean, if you're Terrence Mann and you played in like real basketball games for the Clippers, and what was he on the Hawks last year? I think, like to expect him to go out there and like give his all for this Nets team is probably not fair. Like, can Clowney play a little defense? Maybe, but like they just don't have anybody to stay in front. And when you got a Knicks team that has the ball movement, that they do. And the other thing about the Nets, they're not like they're damned if you do, damned if you don't, because they're not going to switch a ton. And if they do switch, it's going to be a nightmare for them because the Knicks have all these players and that could do all these different things with the ball. And it's just really tough. The real test for the Knicks is going to be, because you say when they are clicking like this, can they click like this against an elite switching defense? And I mean elite at like executing the switches and elite at actually like being able to hold up once they switch. Now, the good news is that in the Eastern Conference this year, at least, I mean, who's the best switching defense in the East? I mean, the Orlando, if they ever get their shit together, they lost again tonight. Like, that's going to be a tough team. But even them, I don't know. I don't know that the Knicks will fear the prospect of having to score on Orlando. Like Detroit, Detroit's going to look. I can't wait for the first Knicks Detroit game. That's going to be fun. That they're going to be a tough one. But all of your best really switchable defenses lie in the West. OKC, needless to say, Houston's going to be able to do a lot of stuff against them. But of course, they have some spots you could pick out. But that Houston defense is legit. But look, the boogeyman that was the Boston Celtics, they're gone. They're not here anymore. So that's a big impediment out of the way. And look, if we're talking about the Knicks facing the best defense in the league in a playoff series, it means we're talking about the Knicks in the finals, because that means they're playing OKC. So that's a great problem to have. And I look forward to having conversations about how the Knicks can do well or against that OKC team. Thanks, Rob. Next up, we got a couple, I think, here from Dan Hidalgo. Are the Knicks cool yet? I don't know, man. Is this cool? I mean, look, KD, they won tonight. They're awesome. The Rockets are awesome. Listen, he just, I don't know. I there is a part of me that is curious if there was ever a part of him that ever really wanted to come here. Just out of curiosity, I mean, obviously there was a time that I, speaking for myself, was desperate for it. And even as recently this summer, it was a conversation that I wanted to have. Clearly the Knicks didn't want to have it, but I would say the Knicks are pretty cool. I mean, any team that could do that, protecting, what's cool? Protecting home court is cool. That's cool. And the Knicks are 6-0 at home. I like that. That's cool. Another one from Dan. Thank you, Dan. Very generous tonight. An underrated predictor of success in the NBA. Nobody has to play outside of their natural positions or strengths. Can you think of an exception? Meaning an exception where a team has been successful with somebody playing outside of their natural position or strengths. No. I mean, you nailed it, Dan. Like, it's why putting together a bunch of talent is only half the battle. I mean, that's hard enough to do on its own, but it's having that talent. It's putting the talent in positions where all you're asking those players to do is to be the best versions of themselves. I think on offense, at least, other than the defense, which I think that the defense will continue to be the biggest question for this team. And again, they came out and they defended in the third quarter. Credit to them for that. But they still have to figure some stuff out on defense. I don't think there's any question about that. The biggest question for this team, for me, again, going back to the point or the topic from just a moment ago, is against really good defenses, does it look like all of the play? Because again, against this defense, it looked like, everybody's playing, maximizing their ideal skill sets. When you play a better defense, will it look like some of these guys are being asked to do something a little bit above their pay grade? And that's the question. Because again, if you're gonna make the finals, go through the East, like you're gonna face tough defenses. And what I will say is last year, I mean, the pieces just never added up. It was the phrase I used the most last year, which is that it never seemed like the whole added up to something greater than the sum of the parts. Now you are seeing something where the whole exceeds the sum of the parts, very obviously. The only question is, can it stay that way against elite defenses, who are going to put more pressure on your OG Anunobys when he has the ball and your Mikal Bridges when he has the ball, and who are going to challenge Cat in ways that we know he has been challenged before and have made him uncomfortable before. So it's going to be a process. There's going to be downs. Tonight's a big up. There's going to be downs. But I think, the fact that Mike Brown is at this stage already with this team, and they have not yet played 10 games, and they have 72 more or 3 more games to go this season to really hone this thing. That's a great freaking place to be. But to your point, no, Dan, I can't really think of an exception. Thanks, man. Good question. Next up, Sam Garcia. What's going on, Sam? How you doing, bud? The Mike Brown takes after 5 games were funny. Yeah, I mean, look, I never had any questions about Mike Brown. My questions were very simple. Was the buy-in there across the roster? That was my question before the season started, before they played a preseason game. And it was my question through 5 games. Was the buy-in there? And it was what was the learning curve going to be like here? And now through the last 4 games, I mean, maybe it's fair to ask still some questions about buy-in. Sure seems like the buy-in is there. But, questions about, again, I said this at the time, like, oh, is this team, do they have what it takes to run Mike Brown's, like, this up-tempo offense, the whole thing? No, those were always a little silly. Did they have the shooting? That was the one that was the one that was silly to me. Do they have the shooting to put up all these threes? Like, yes, they have the shooting. It just takes a while to get comfortable. But Mike, we said it when he was hired. Mike Brown's a good coach. He was a good coach when they were 2-3. He's a good coach now that they're 6-3. He's going to be a good coach after 82 games. It's just, it's about, is everybody going to be unselfish? And then once you get past that, get a little lucky, execute, make some shots. That's what it is. Thanks, Sam. Guy Huber, then. What's going on, Guy Huber? Coach Brown, you have saved my life. Yeah, man. It's good. This is great. Look, we never saw anything like this last year. Let's call a spade a spade. We never saw anything like this last year. Not like this. The team put up a lot of points. I could think of some games where the offense was really good, but it did not look and feel like this. Did not. Even against dog shit teams. Didn't look and feel like this. Thanks, Goober. Another one from Vintage Larry Wu, parentheses, Jacob. Could Yabu be traded? Just in terms of his contract and maybe his abilities. He came in and he doesn't know plays and he can't hold, is targeted on D. I think we need to pump the brakes on all the Yabu stuff. I mean, look, I am guilty of having some fun at his expense. Mostly because it's just so funny to me that he puts out these curated social media posts before each game, which, like, whatever, to each their own. I know players got to promote themselves, but still, look, he is a little out of shape. It's okay to admit that. It's okay to say it. It is what it is. He's a little out of shape. And as we heard Mike Brown say all through the preseason, what he asks of his big men to do, especially in the case of Yabusele and Karl-Anthony Towns, big men who at times are going to be playing the 4 and at times are going to be playing the 5. So it's almost like they have to learn 2 completely different job descriptions, which I think explains a little bit of why you saw Cat struggling early in the year, and I think explains a lot of why you're seeing Yabusele struggle now. And when you combine that with the fact that the conditioning is not there, you're going to get some performances that don't look so good. And he still has not looked good. This is a really talented basketball player. Like, what we saw in Philly last season was not a mirage. He came in, and by the way, like, guys go and produce in Europe a lot. That does not always mean that they are going to get a real shot with an NBA team. And the Sixers saw enough, and that if they didn't do it, somebody else would have done it. Somebody would have given him a shot last year. And for him to come and translate that to real success in the NBA, and that was real success. He could do things at his size that is just a very unique combination of skills. He could crash the boards, he could set a mean screen, and he could hit a three. Those three things together make him a unique player. If he could now just start to hold up a little bit more defensively, that's the key. He needs to be able to hold up more defensively than he is holding up right now, and it's hard. You know, the offense is going to come. I'm not worried about the offense with Yabusele. Yabusele is going to be fine. To answer your question, can he be traded? Yeah, he can be traded. He can be traded. I think I forget if it's December 15th or January 15th. They're not looking to move Yabusele. You know, especially he's got a player option for next year. His value, for as long as he's playing like this, is not going to be high. So you know what they need? They need him to figure it out, and they need him to play better. And he will play better. I really do believe that. I think Yabusele is going to play better. I think I just, you know, again, there's a guy, he's kind of been demoted from the rotation. It was crazy to me. I didn't even notice he didn't play in the first half until I think someone pointed it out on shout out to everybody in the KFS chat on chatnicks.com. Everybody go join us. We're, I think, over 350 now. Marching to 500. Still giving away those Knicks Raptors tickets to anybody who joins between now and probably a couple weeks from now. So yeah, I like completely didn't even notice that he didn't play in the first half. But listen, Brown, that's accountability. That's accountability. We just gave you our mini mid-level exception. Well, if you're not going to help us win, you're not going to play. And he's not helping them. He will get there. He will get there. I'm confident. Really do believe that. Another one from Jacob. Mitch plus 40 in 17 minutes. Yeah, pretty good. Good basketball player, that Mitchell Robinson. He was the defensive player of the game. So he got the Timbs, he got the hard hat, he got the what else? The orange vest. I have not seen the picture yet. But I can't wait to see the picture. Kevin Anishevsky. Hey, Kev, how you doing? Thank you again for what you DM'd me before. That was very, very nice. I remember when he used to come on here and kill Mitch for his inconsistency. Now he may be the best permanent defender in the NBA other than Wemby. Oh, man. I mean, he's got to be in the conversation, right? Top 5, at least. In terms of that block that he had, what was it, the third quarter? Whoever that poor guy was, who thought, oh, I think it's going to be a good idea for me to pull up and take this long too. Yeah, that didn't go so well. But no, he's playing the best basketball of his life. And every time Mitchell Robinson goes out on the floor, you know exactly what you are going to get, which is not something I thought I would say about Mitchell Robinson even 3 years ago. You know, I think my Mark may have some shots here. There is Mitch with the Timbs, with the hard hat, with the orange vest. I have no doubt that his teammates were having quite a bit of fun with him for this one. And then, oh yeah, he likes the hard. He probably is going to try to steal the hard hat, even though that is property of Knicks PR, I believe. So he can't really take that. You're not supposed to take that. Anyway, I am AK Legend. What's going on? I am AK. Great win, Yabu. Get rid of the Kyle Lowry behind. Let's go, Knicks. It's working it off. He's working it off. It's coming. It's coming off. It doesn't happen overnight. It's coming. They're scoring 121.7 points per game. In second place, your New York Knicks. 121.6 points, not per game, per 100 possessions. 120. So we are trailing the Rockets by 1/10 of a point per 100 possessions for the top offense in the league. Third place, Philly. Shout out to them. They've had a great start to the year. Fourth place, Denver. Fifth place, Minnesota. But there's a gap between Denver and Minnesota. It's really a robust top four right now, all 121 point something. And then net rating, fourth overall. Believe it or not, don't look now. The Knicks have a top 10 defense. It's amazing what playing the Nets could do for you. Mark, yeah, let's do. We could do one now. We could do it now if you want. Once I pull it up. All right. Let's take a very quick second to hear a word from our friends at Cornbread. Yes, life, it has been a little bit crazy lately because the Knicks just played the Nets and they needed to keep their attention and focus and not get stressed and not get, uncomfortable, with the aches and pains that come from running up and down the floor after you score basket after basket after basket. You know what the Knicks could use? Same thing we could all use when we get a little stressed or achy or uncomfortable, and that is Cornbread Hemp's CBD gummies, which are formulated, of course, to work with your body and not against it. I'm a big believer in Cornbread Hemp CBD gummies, not only because they help me with some relaxation when I need that, but also sleeplessness. And especially as I'm getting older, I like the fact that they are, yes, you know it, third-party lab tested and USDA organic to ensure safety and purity. Right now, Knicks Film School listeners can save 30% on your first order. Just head to cornbreadhemp.com/KFS and use code KFS at checkout. That is cornbreadhemp.com/KFS and use code KFS at checkout. Giddy up. All righty. Next up, Armand. What's going on, Armin? How you doing? It was good. Yeah, I think, Armin, you're the early MVP of chatnix.com because you're just constantly in there and stirring the pot, which I love. Brown's job is safe. Yes, Brown's job is indeed safe. I love it. He's very good. It's very cool. Thanks, Armin. Jessica, it's always good to see you. It was good to see you at halftime tonight, too. Teamwork masterpiece, in quotes. Last year, I tried to be patient to see things gel. They never did. Everything I wanted to see last season is happening now. Let's go Knicks. It was not that long ago that I had to sit up here at the beginning of last season. And as Jessica is alluding to, preach patience. Lot of patience. Something about last year, whatever it was, it never added up. It just didn't. We thought it might. Not that they didn't play well at times. Again, took advantage of some bad competition. But it's tough to watch a game like this tonight and what they did and how they performed and just how they've been playing recently on this homestand, how they played in the second half against the Minnesota Timberwolves, really the whole game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. You think back to the Bulls game. I mean, the Bulls are really good. I don't think the Bulls are a fluke, and the Knicks did a nice job on them, certainly, in their second game against Chicago. You look at these games and how the Knicks are performing in all these games, it is happening. They are gelling. Like, we waited for it last year, and I think there were times where we probably talked ourselves into, it's kind of coming, and it never really came. And then a circuitous series of events led the Knicks to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they earned that trip to the Eastern Conference Finals, and that was not an accident. That was not a mirage. They did that. They actually did that. 2 20-point comebacks against the mighty Celtics. That happened. But did they gel like this? So like it's just one of those like classic, like both things could be true. We can praise last year's team, and we could praise the job that the last head coach did in maintaining, the grit and the never say die attitude and all that stuff, so they could make those comebacks and win those 2 playoff series, while also recognizing that what we are seeing right now is just kind of a different thing. And the hope is that it only gets better from here. So there you go. Okay, next up. Joseph Milio, what's going on, Joseph? It's great to see you. Every game, they're getting more comfortable. Offense is starting to hum. Let's go 7-0 on this homestand. Oh, and Mitch, LOL, beast. Yeah, Mitchell Robinson's pretty good. I just want him to stay healthy. That's all that it is. I just want Mitchell Robinson to stay healthy. If he stays healthy, the sky's the limit. And on that, speaking of let's go 7-0, here's what the Knicks have in front of them. The last 4 games on this homestand. We got Charlotte on Wednesday. No, sorry, I'm looking ahead. Memphis on Tuesday. Sorry. Memphis on Tuesday. Orlando on Wednesday. And then NBA Cup game, Miami on Friday. So back-to-back. Second night of the back-to-back, having to play the Orlando Magic is not going to be easy. I know that team is struggling right now. Again, I said they lost to Boston tonight. The Magic were up big early in that game. It was one of the games that I had on my TV. The other game that I had on my other little TV was the Memphis game, because I was curious how Memphis came out. Memphis went up big early. I think they might have been up by 20 points or something close to 20 points on OKC. And then OKC came back and tied the game and eventually kind of won going away. So both of those teams, I would define as struggling teams right now in terms of Memphis and Orlando. And then as far as the Heat go, I have not heard the latest update on Bam's injury situation. He got hurt the other night. Let me see if I could pull something up really quick. I don't know if it's yeah, I mean he's out. He's been out. So we'll see if he's in a walking boot right now. So I don't know. Is he going to play in 5 days? It's amazing how often guys make miraculous recoveries, when they play the Knicks. Mark, don't worry. I'm putting it up here in a second. Okay, but Joseph, we'll see what happens. Is it possible they go 7-0? Absolutely freaking possible they go 7-0. 100%. And I think honestly they should. Okay. And don't worry, Mark. I'll put it up when the time is right. I'm not sure when I want to do it. Okay. Just Richards, what's going on, Just? Hey, John, Knicks are going undefeated on this home stretch. That's all. Fuck the Nets. I hope you're right. If they do go undefeated, I wonder. Here's something somebody could look up. Maybe. What is the longest undefeated homestand the Knicks have ever had? Actually, maybe don't look that up. Maybe we'll jinx it. Maybe we shouldn't jinx it. I don't know. I mean, they haven't had a whole lot of 7-game homestands. So you figure, all right, they maybe haven't had a whole lot of those to begin with. How many of those have they won all their games? I don't know. But maybe it's something we'll have to look up pretty soon. Mitch is not giving up the hard hat. That's great. All right. Thanks, Just. Huzzoo. Can we get anything for Yabu in some seconds? Come on, guys. It's been 9 games. Hush. It's been 9 games. Yabu's going to be fine. You have your fun now. Yabu's going to be fine. He is. He's a really good basketball player. And I'm telling everybody right now, if you're wondering what the trade value of a guy is who you want off your own team after 9 games and he has a player option for more than $5 million next year, spoiler alert, it's not very high. If the Knicks if Knicks tried to unload Gershon Yabusele today, they'd probably have to give up, something just to get off his contract. like attach picks just to get off his money and not get anybody particularly good back. They're not going to do that. They need Gershon Yabusele. Here's a question. If they traded Gershon Yabusele, who the fuck is going to come in and do what Gershon Yabusele is supposed to do for this team? They need him. They need his shooting. They need his size. They need that guy. And that's nothing against Landry Shamet. I love what Landry Shamet has come in and given them. Landry Shamet should be the 0.5 in the 9.5 man rotation. It should not be Gershon Yabusele. And that's not that, by the way, I don't disagree with a single thing that Mike Brown is doing right now. He should be playing Landry Shamet because Landry Shamet's helping them win basketball games. Gershon Yabusele is not. He needs to earn those minutes. He just hasn't earned them yet. So, you gotta get there. But no, don't be shipping Yabu at a time. Yabu's gonna be fine. Thanks, Hush. Greg Film Stuff. What's going on, Greg? I love that JB can have 17 and 9. Excuse me, I can't read. 19 and 7, and the Knicks can still win comfortably. Great ball movement with 31 assists. All 5 starters were a plus tonight. This is the Hart we need in the playoffs. It's funny because I actually thought Hart had one of his quieter games. What did he have tonight? Hart played 21 minutes. Oh, wouldn't you know it? 11 points, 7 rebounds, 3 on the offensive glass, 2 assists. You know what? That's fine. 5 of 7 from the field. Hit a 3, of course, because he's lighting it up now. The Hart that we've been getting for the last 3-4 games, whatever it is. Like, they have this guy that is, I would say, let me say this. If Hart plays this way all year, he will absolutely be in the running for 6 man of the year. Like 100%, he will be in the running for 6 man of the year. I'm actually trying to think who. Let me see. Let me look up the. Hang on one sec. Here's the thing. He's not going to have the crazy numbers because he's not going to score the most. And this award so typically goes to like, okay, who's the 6 man who's scoring the most or close to the most? But like, I don't know. Right now, the 6 man of the year race is kind of wide open. I gotta say, like, AJ Mitchell is killing it for the Thunder. I think he's the current front runner. But like, Jeremy Grant's up there. Quentin Grimes is up there. Grimes has been great. Jaime Jaquez Jr. I'm actually surprised he's gonna make, if he keeps coming off the bench and like he keeps playing like this for the Heat, he's gonna make a big push. And then you have the names that we expected to be there. Your Naz Reeds, your Tari Easons, your Onyeka Okongwus, Deuce, McBride. And then Hart is actually kind of, he's not even really among the leaders right now, probably because he started off the season so rough. But I think Hart keeps playing like this, he'll absolutely be in the race. On the 31 assists, so I want to give a shout out. Recently, members or readers of the Knicks Film School newsletter, shout out to Substack, may have noticed a month and change ago, I put out a call for potential interns. And we've gone through the process. I've been talking to a bunch of people, have brought a few people aboard. And so you're going to start to see them have a little role here at KFS. And one of them is Jonah Kaufman. Shout out to Jonah. And so Jonah has started to, after every game he's going to be doing this, or most games he's going to be doing this, coming up with a stat of the game. And he actually gave me 3 tonight, so I had to pick one. One was Mitchell Robinson's plus 40, which we've already talked about. But this, as pertains to the 31 assists, so we could put this up right now. 31 assists for the Knicks tonight. I was searching for it. Shout out to Jonah. He got this for me. 4th game in a row with at least 30 assists. And even more important than that, this came on 48 made field goals, which is a 65 assist percentage. And I really like 65 assist percentage. I think 65 assist percentage is something the Knicks should shoot for. I think as a goal for their team on the year right now, the Knicks assist percentage is 64.1, and that's after this game. 65% puts them pretty close. They're in 11th. Generally, 65 will put you in the top 10. if the Knicks can go from being, and shout out again to Jonah for coming up with the stat of the game. If the Mark, fix that. Thanks. If the Knicks could go from being what they have historically been for the last few years, which is one of the worst assist teams in basketball, to now being a top 10 assist percentage team, it's evidence of everything that we're talking about with Mike Brown's offense. Which is everything you want. So great stuff. Thanks, Jonah. All right. Next up, Hakeem the Dream. What's going on, Hakeem the Dream? OG has been the best player on the Knicks since he was traded here. Now I remember you, Hakeem. You're on this OG train. Look, Jalen Brunson might be, by the time he's all is said and done, he might be the greatest player in Knicks history. He's not there yet. He's not in the top 3 yet. He's honestly not close to the top 3 yet. But he's already got a pretty good argument for 4th. I think he probably is 4th right now. That's when we have it. I haven't had the Brunson versus the Busher conversation. I don't know if I'm ready to have that yet. But he's in the top 5. He's probably 4th. He's got a chance to be number 1. Certainly. He has that chance. He has the opportunity. Win the championship here with the Knicks. Keep making all NBA teams. Got a chance to be the greatest player in franchise history. So I cannot sit here and say that OG Anunoby has been the best player on the Knicks since he was traded here. He has been everything that they wanted and that they could have imagined he would be when they traded for him, other than some health hiccups. And the best thing that you could say about the OG trade is that, in a league where there's tons of ups and downs and like guys go through slumps and, and in a league where the guys who they traded for OG, one, Emmanuel Quickley, like we all love Emmanuel Quickley. It hasn't worked out so far for Toronto. We'll see if maybe that changes. But RJ Barrett, man, that dude's looked awesome, right? That dude's looked great at times. You want to talk about OG Anunoby being in the All-Star conversation? You got to talk about RJ Barrett being in the All-Star conversation for being fair. And here's the compliment that I'm going to pay. At no point in time has any reasonable Knicks fan stopped and been like, oh, man, shouldn't have done that trade. Bad trade. We messed up. We blew our assets, on the wrong guy. Nobody has said that. And I don't think anybody will say that because OG Anunoby has come and been exactly what they needed him to be. He's been as advertised. He's been better than advertised. And he is playing currently the best basketball of his career. So that's pretty cool. Thanks, Hakeem. Adam Bendian. What's going on, Adam? Just a fun night, if a little sloppy at the end. I'll be honest, once all the subs came in, I was like, all right, let's get ready for the post game. I love the kids, rooting for the kids. Diawara, shout out to Mohamed Diawara. He's hitting threes, getting buckets. I can't be moved by what goes on when it's just all guys on the floor together who are probably at this point not going to be playing a ton of minutes for the next. The one thing I was a little disappointed with, there was a moment where Huck Porty set a moving screen. I was like, man, he's the one guy that even more than Yabusele. Yabusele, he's not in shape yet, and it's a tough role he's getting used to. I really, really, really was higher on Huck Porty coming into this year. And he came in, that wasn't his only mistake, I don't think. So I don't know. I hope he can start to put together and become maybe a part of the team's not healthy rotation, but somebody that could step in when Mitch has to miss games or whatever the case may be, because again, they need everybody. They need everybody. Thanks, Adam. Hush Zoo with another one. F the Nets. Future draft outside of Powell. Well, it's early. How many games have the Nets played? 9 games? 10 games. It's 10 games. It's early to judge, but the notion that again, they got 5 bites at the apple. 5. And they had a summer league with these kids, and they've had training camp, and now 10 games, and like a bunch of them are not even getting in these games. The fact that you don't have one guy who you're like, oh, we got one stud. There's something there with that. That kid's clearly going to be. You can't say that yet. That's got to be disheartening if you're a Nets fan. So again, that's why I started the show the way I did. My deepest condolences. Every one of those 87 people. If I had all 87 of their names, I would read all of them right now, because it wouldn't take that long. Thanks, Hush. Fred, go do your job. Fred Katz. Hello, Fred. Have you noticed that OG's connector passing has been at another level? It was ridiculous tonight. Has he ever created this many corner threes in a game? I don't know, Fred. Has he? I'm sure you're already looking up that fact, and you probably have the answer as we speak. What I will say in response to your question, one, yes, I think we've all noticed OG's connector passing, but it is just a reminder that there are many ways to be more involved in an offense, and there are many ways to have a bigger role and inhabit a bigger role in the offense other than just like running pick and roll and either, shooting or kicking out or whatever the case may be. And being a connecting passer, which, as you say, OG's doing a great job of, is a really vital role, especially in this offense where making the next pass is vital, because it's all about making the next pass until the next guy can keep the dominoes moving or falling down. And then you eventually get to the place where like, oh yeah, there's an open corner three, which, as you said earlier, thank you for this, 17 corner threes tonight, which is absurd. So you need the connectivity. He seems to be embracing his role. I don't mind the moments where he kind of goes for it. He had a couple in this game. I don't think either of them went particularly well, although one of them, I think he got blocked. He got his own offensive rebound, and he put it back up for a dunk, so that was fine. But I like that OG still goes for it around the rim sometimes, even if that's maybe not his forte. But yeah, no, he's been playing within himself, and if to the extent that there is any complaining about how many threes he's putting up, which I'm not really doing, you'd rather a guy like him be putting up more than fewer, and he is certainly doing that. Thanks, Fred. You're the best. Love you, man. And yes, Mark. Sorry. We'll do this from Mark, and then we'll do the other thing. Okay, Mark Sable, what's going on, Mark? Are the Nets a good argument for relegation? Seriously, enjoying the season, and belated congrats on doing this full time, John. Thank you very much, Mark. I appreciate that. Hope you're well. Hope everything's good out in Cali. Are the Nets a good argument for relegation? It's tough, because you look at the teams that are bringing up the rear in the league right now, and some of these teams have a valid excuse. Like the Indiana Pacers are just absolutely decimated with injuries, to say nothing of the fact that their best player is going to be out for a while, for going to be out until next year. They are 1-8. The Pelicans have kind of quit on their coach. They have talent, though. They have real talent. And they've won 2 in a row, so maybe they haven't quit on their coach. The Dallas Mavericks are being run by an insane person. So that's their excuse. But they also have talent. The Wizards, they have a lot of young players that you could look at and be like, hey, that guy might be a guy. Alex Sarr, that guy might be a guy. Trey Johnson, that guy might be a guy. I'm trying to think who I'm forgetting. I'm still kind of high on Balak Coulibaly, but they're going out there. There's they play a bunch of young players, as they should. And some of them they're coming along. Like, what? Again, I ask. Any of the 87 could answer this. What is there to get excited about for Nets games right now? You getting off on Michael Porter Jr. scoring 25 points? How many did he have tonight? Kaishan George, thank you. I forgot about Kaishan George. Kaishan George is very good. Not as good as Keontae George this year. Yeah, of the two recently drafted Georges, I think Keontae is the better. But Kaishan George is good. Thank you, Fred. How many points did Michael Porter Jr. have? 25. Look at that. I got it right on the number. Yeah. So sorry, Nets fans. Okay. Now we could take one more very quick break to tell you about our friends from, drumroll please, Yule. What's going on, Yule? So Yule, I've been talking about him for close to a week now. And I talk about them because I love Yule and I need Yule. They play a big role in my life when I am too busy to have a proper meal. And now, like, this is even better than just talking about Yule. I can show you guys because, as you guys could see, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, I have what was formerly just my beer fridge. But because I work down here in my office so much, in my little podcast studio, and a lot of times I don't get a chance to even go upstairs to grab something, I just put some Yule right in my fridge. So I literally roll right over here. And I got two great options. I have either the black edition ready to drink. So I'm partial to chocolate, but they're all very good. Or if I want something a little bit of a different, cut of the old jib there, I got my Yule Daily Greens in a can, and they're both great. The black edition ready to drink has a lot of protein, 35 grams. No added sugar. It's gluten free. It's under $5 per one of these, and it's a full meal in a bottle, which is great. And then the Daily Greens is 42 vitamins, minerals, and superfoods. It's only 25 calories, which is crazy that it's so few. And it's only 4 grams of fiber, 1 gram of sugar. So great stuff all around. And the best part of all, it's delicious. And I got to tell you, I did not have a meal since about 3:30 today. So I'm going to pop one of these bad boys open right now. It's very good. And I can tell you this is going to be fine for me before I go to sleep. I'm not going to be hungry because everything I need is right there. So if you want to take advantage of this special offer for new customers, you could use my exclusive code KFS at www.yule, that's HUEL.com/KFS. You get 15% off your first purchase. And you could try both products. You could try the ready-to-drink black edition, or you could try the greens in a can. They're also available at Target stores nationwide. It's healthy eating made simple. One more time, use that code KFS. And also, if you could, fill out the post-checkout survey to help support Knicks Film School. One more time, www.huel.com/KFS. Use that code KFS at checkout. Really, it's quite good. It's like a milkshake. Kevin Danishevsky with another one. Speaking of Mitch, Day'Ron Sharpe impressed me before going down with a hammy. If Yabu isn't cutting it, what would you think about getting him? I love Day'Ron Sharpe. Great offensive rebounder. Fits kind of right into what they need their centers to do, even if he isn't the impactful defender that Mitch is. I just don't know. Let's see. What's his contract situation? Is he still on his rookie deal? I feel like he's still on his rookie deal. And he's probably going to be what? Extension? Oh, no. Oh, never mind. Sorry. So he's on $6.25 million this year. And the Nets have a club option on him for next year at $6.25 million. I mean, that's not nothing. I don't know. Is Day'Ron Sharpe a value? I mean, the club option helps. The club option helps. I'm sure the Nets would want something decent for Day'Ron Sharpe. Like he's a good backup, or a serviceable backup center in the league. I don't know. I think the Knicks are going to give Gershon Yabusele every single opportunity to succeed and thrive in the role that they got him for. That was not to give him to use your mini mid-level on him, that was a commitment by a team that does not have a lot of avenues to add talent. And they decided to use that card on Yabusele. I can't even imagine how poorly he would need to play for as long as he would need to play that poorly for them to be like, we got to go in another direction. We need another big man. This is not going to work out. Because then you got to deal with what are we doing with his contract? And again, he has a player option. So I don't know. That's why I'm choosing to be optimistic on Yabusele. I am. Anyway, but I like that run sharp. Thanks, Kev. Jason, what's up, Jason? Good to see you at halftime tonight. Good win. Offense is becoming special. Hey, they're almost first in the league. That's pretty good. I know. Again, have they played great defenses? No, but how many great defenses are there in the league? You know who the second best defense in the league right now is by defensive rating? I could give you guys unless you've looked it up. I bet you I could give you 10 guesses. You're not going to get it. It's the Denver Nuggets. The freaking Denver Nuggets have the second best defensive rating in the league. Oklahoma City, of course, is first by a mile. But Denver's 2, Detroit's 3. Man, Dallas. The 3-win Dallas Mavericks actually have the 4th best defense. Hey, defense wins championships, so that's good. And then Miami, of course, is 5. And then San Antonio's 6. Houston is 7. Cleveland's 8. And the Knicks are 9. So, Portland's, they're 10. They're good defense. Orlando, 13th. That's not what you want if you're them. But like great defenses, OKC is a great defense. Is Detroit a great defense? No, I don't think so. Miami? No. San Antonio is a great defensive player. Are they a great defense? No. Houston, yeah. Houston has some special defensive players. And they got a coach who is a fucking hard ass. Are they a great defense, though? I don't know. Are they, they're a lot of Reed Shepherd minutes for them to be a great defense. But I don't know. They got some special talent. So we'll see. But again, those teams are out west. So Knicks don't have to play them that much, which is good. Thanks, Jason. Sean with a W. Hi, Sean. My co-host on NBA Takedown. We're getting an episode tomorrow at noon. Come join us if you're watching this. June 30th, 2019 needs a name. Any suggestions? Man. Oh, God. Look, it doesn't matter. The Knicks can win the next 5 championships. June 30th, 2019 is always going to be a dark day for me. Is always going to be a dark day. That was the most down in the dumps I personally have ever felt as a fan of any sports team. But that's just me. So I don't know. I'm sure people that are more creative than me, I'm sure could come up with a good name for it, but I don't have a good one. But it was a crappy day, and now looking back, I don't know. Could we laugh about it? I don't know that I will ever look back and laugh at June 30th, 2019. It's just no. It's memory's too bad. Thanks, Sean. Good to see you. See you tomorrow. Paul McFarlane, what's going on, Paul? Could have started the show with 9 minutes left in the third. Yeah, but we have rules here at Knicks Film School. The Knicks are still undefeated at home, and in November, let's fucking go Knicks. The Jets now have more wins than the Nets. Oh goodness, did the Jets win today? I didn't watch it. I'll be honest. I didn't watch a single second of football today. My fantasy season's all ended a while ago, and yeah, I have no reason to watch anything. All in on basketball. There's some good basketball being played right now. And we're almost done. So perfect timing. Thanks, Paul. Bill Peterfriend, what's going on, Bill? Can we only play the Nets? Boys look good. Yeah, unfortunately, no. We can't only play the Nets. But look, you want to be tested, right? If you're a good basketball team, you want to be tested. Miami Heat on Friday. We'll see if they have Bam. If they have Bam, that'll be a real test. Orlando. I know Orlando has not been playing well. I just told you they were a middle of the pack defense. Orlando will be a test, especially on the second night of a back-to-back. And like Memphis, I'll be, you don't want to take that team for granted, or you don't want to take that as you don't want to look past that team. I know there's some stuff going on with them right now, but no, the last 3 games, these will be, gotta come, bring your, come and play like you did tonight, even with better competition. Thanks, Bill. Z Raheem, what's going on, Z? Can we start the OG All-Star campaign officially? Listen, I'm here with you, man. I am here with you. I think he should absolutely be in consideration. I think the 7 international guys that I mentioned at the top of the show, barring injury or like some crazy fall off in their respective in any of their plays, I think all 7 of those guys are pretty much locks for the 7 of the 8 international spots. After them, I should probably just go find my tweet, because I actually went through the entire league and looked and saw like who else is kind of in contention for that stuff. Hold on, I got it. No, I don't. I don't know where it was. In any case, whatever. It's he's going to have competition. He's going to have competition. That's all I'll say. He's going to have competition, and then we'll see what happens. But I think he's got. Oh no, here it is. Markkanen. That's the guy I forgot. Markkanen and Siakam. Both those guys are having outstanding years. Their teams are not good. So how are voters going to deal with the fact that they're both really good and they're on bad teams? And Denny Avdia. I would put Denny Avdia ahead of OG right now because he is the best player, clearly the best player on a team that has a winning record. Right? 5-4. So still a winning record, Portland. Jamal Murray, Franz Wagner, Sabonis. I mentioned RJ, OG. Like the competition is going to be fierce for those 8 international spots. It really is. Maybe there's an injury replacement situation, but it's going to be tough. Thanks, Z. Oscar Luong, what's going on, Oscar? How you doing from the other side of the world? Wing stops in the corners. Clarkson and Hart thriving. Everybody's eating. Everybody's playing their role. Everybody's eating. Everybody's looking good, feeling good. It's like the end of trading places. Everybody's happy. Everybody's toasting their drinks. If only they could play the Nets every game, but just keep this process. Keep this process, and then obviously you hope the shots fall. That's one stat that I did not update tonight that I said I was going to keep track of, and I didn't get to tonight. So the Knicks now, they are down to 4th. I think they were 3rd. They're down to 4th in 3-point attempts per game, 42.9. Celtics actually dropped out of the top spot. The Cavs are number 1, Celtics 2, Blazers 3, Knicks 4. And then 3-point percentage, I bet the Knicks are now, bet you they're 7th. I'm good. Am I good or am I good? They are in 7th. 38.3% from deep now. Just ahead of the Heat and behind the Sixers, Raptors, Bulls, Bucks, Wolves, and of course the Rockets. If you want to know why the Rockets have the best offense in the league, yes, their offense is good, but they are hitting everything. Not taking a ton of threes, though. Only taking 29 threes a game. But the Rockets are extremely efficient. I think they might be the most efficient team in the league. No, they're the 8th most efficient team in the league overall. The Bucks are the most efficient team in the league. Go figure. But if you want the best sign for the Knicks, here's the best sign for the Knicks. They are literally 0.1 or 10th of a point per 100 possessions behind the Rockets for the best offense in the league. And in effective field goal percentage, the Knicks are not even in the top half of teams. They are 16th in the league in effective field goal percentage. And they almost have the best offense. That is a stat. Thanks, Oscar. We got our last two super chats. Ben Kim Gervey, speaking of stats, these are the ones he loves to track. 89 field goal attempts. We both know that would have been above 90 easily if they had played to the buzzer. 37 threes. That's fine in a game like this. And then 12 stocks. Clearly we lost. Hashtag metrics. Now, if this was a real game, you would have hit all your markers on all of those. So I'm not worried about that. And last but not least, LE54. What's going on, LE54? Nick Claxton. Did he actually say this? Mark is shaking his head yes. Nick Claxton. Me personally, I've never lost to the Knicks since I've been in the league. And he is 0-10 since he said that? Is that a fact? Oh, my God, Nick Claxton. That's not even my favorite Nick Claxton quote. My favorite Nick Claxton quote was when he was talking about how, I forget what it was like. He was reflecting back on like a previous season maybe and said something to the effect of like, yeah, we made all those trades. Like, I think when they traded away KD and Kyrie or whatever. And he's like, yeah, that cost me like a defensive player of the year, or that cost me all defense or some such nonsense. Like, man, that guy needs to get his head out of his own ass. But he really does fit perfectly in that team and culture. So, maybe we shouldn't deprive the 87 Net fans of Nick Claxton because he's just such a perfect fit for them and what they go about doing as a organization. Well, thank you, LE, for that reminder. I actually did not know that Nick Claxton said that, so I'm very happy to learn that today. And that is it for our post-game show here, presented, of course, by FANATICS Sportsbook. If you like the show, oh, look at that. Mark is telling me we are 121 subscribers on YouTube away from 50,000. Mark, I don't know how you know that, but that's great. So if you're watching this or if you're listening to this and you have not subscribed to the Knicks Film School YouTube channel, go subscribe, and you might be our 50,000th subscriber, which would be really cool because 50,000, that's a great number. Also support the show in other ways, like following us on social media at Knicks Film School. That is SKOOL. You can subscribe to our Patreon, where I just dropped a mailbag, and Benji and DJ have been like almost daily dropping different little things between Benji's grade book and DJ's film sessions. That, of course, is on our Brunson tier, which is like the price of a sandwich every month. And you're getting, again, bonus content every day. You can subscribe to the Knicks Film School newsletter over on Substack. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. Support the pod by leaving a nice 5-star rating, or if you're so inclined to write a review. I think that's it. Mark, did I forget anything? No? Think we're good? Okay. Shout out to Fanatics. Oh, the watch party. Sorry, I didn't plug the watch party. We got a watch party on Friday. Again, that is going to be at Slattery's Midtown Pub. I'm waiting for the official word on a very, very, very nice giveaway that we are going to be doing for that watch party. I can't announce it yet. I will announce it as soon as I have confirmation, maybe on Tuesday's postgame or Wednesday's postgame, maybe sooner. I don't know. Hopefully I get confirmation sooner. But we're planning on doing a very, very special giveaway for the watch party. Again, the watch party is this upcoming Friday. It is for the Heat game on November 14th at Slattery's Midtown Pub. So everybody go come out for that. And then Mark is telling me he has the Nick Claxton video of Nick Claxton saying this nonsense. Mark, you know what? Sure. Why not? No, he doesn't? Oh, he might not have it. Okay. Never mind. I got ahead of my skis. He's like looking for it. So I'm just going to filibuster for a few minutes. Hold on. Are there any other stats that I want to check? I don't think. Can we do any more of a stat update? Here, let's do this. The Knicks. Oh, here's bad news. This is bad news. The Knicks are no longer the best defensive rebounding team in the league. They're now second to the Charlotte Hornets. So if you want, again, to know why a Knicks defense that has not looked particularly good through 9 games is a top 10 defense, defensive rebounding, big part of defense. So that's another stat that I always like tracking. And then something else which has been very good for the Knicks, which is something that is always been a part of their offense, but is also been a part of their offense now, which has made up for the fact that they haven't hit a lot of shots. They're top 10 in turnover rate, so they're not turning the ball over, which is great too. Okay, all right. I think we got the video now. Let's do it.
Me, I've never lost to the Knicks since I've been in the league. I don't think so. Yeah, it's always fun playing against them, though. Me
personally. Oh, Nick, what are we gonna do with you? He got paid a lot of money. Got $100 million contract, so that's good for him. At least he has that. He can't beat the Knicks, but he has $100 million. You know what? Can't have everything in life, so at least he has that. All right. Thank you, Mark, for finding that. And thank you, everybody, for checking out another episode of the Knicks Film School Postgame Show presented by FANATICS Sportsbook. I got, me and Jeremy tomorrow coming up. Tomorrow night. Takedown tomorrow. Come check that out. Me, Sean, and Jeff. Game Tuesday, game Wednesday. We're rolling, baby. We're rolling. Just getting started. All right. Talk to everybody soon. Peace out.
Must be 21 or over? Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Not available in all states. Terms apply. See Fanatics Sportsbook app.